Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the Peak Physique podcast, episode 34 today. As you can see, I'm at the gym today, and I have a guest with me, Kim Pampel. She is our awesome yoga instructor here at Peak Physique, and she's here to talk a little bit more about the benefits of yoga. And let's open this conversation up. Kim, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you, Ricky?
Not too bad. So this is your first podcast, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, how exciting! How exciting! Well, there's going to be about 25 viewers, so get prepared to write some autographs up. Get a little carpal tunnel. All right, so let's start with this question. What days and times do we offer yoga at Peak?
So we have Sunday morning at 9 a.m. and then Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Our Sunday morning class is a little bit more of a yin-based class, which means just like holding postures a little longer and for about 2-3 minutes in a stretch. And then the Tuesday night class is more of a flow class, so expecting to just move and flow more with some like warm-ups and cool down that are still relaxing.
Are both those classes fit for beginners?
Yes, so all the classes that I sequence, like I try to accommodate beginner level and then add in like a few more like challenging poses that might be for a more advanced practitioner, but that you could still just take like a child's pose or something like that during those poses that a practitioner wouldn't have to take the challenging pose.
That sounds awesome. All right, so basically anybody can come in and give it a try, right? All right, so can you explain the key physical and mental benefits of bringing yoga into your regular fitness routine?
Yeah, so definitely flexibility, strength, and balance are some like big components of it. Also, like a lot of people probably have heard about like stress reduction and relaxation. A more regular practice will obviously help with stress. If you come to one class, it's probably not gonna fully take away all your stresses of the day, but you might feel more relaxed after a class. It can also help to reduce inflammation with the stress reduction. Just overall quality of life is better, and you just start to become a little bit more aware of your body and like mind connection and things like that, which is a great benefit.
It sounds to me like pretty much every adult could find some benefit from it then, basically is what you're saying, right? I don't know anybody who isn't dealing with some of those things.
Definitely.
All right, so how does the yoga program at Peak cater to different experience levels from, you know, the beginners to the advanced ones?
So like I mentioned, some of the poses are for, like in general, warm-up postures, the cool-down postures, those are definitely beginner level. More of like a vinyasa flow where you're kind of going down through a chaturanga, coming up through a baby cobra. That can be a little faster and be slightly intimidating to people, but I really try to break those pieces down when we first do it in class and then speed it up a little bit. Other postures like tree pose where you're holding balance on one leg, those can be difficult, but you can take it at different levels like your ankle, your calf, or your thigh. So there's definitely modifications for all levels. So a client could take it at any place, or like I said, come back to one of those resting postures and just take a rest.
Gotta love those chaturangas.
And it's a fun word to say.
Oh, it is one of my favorites. All right, so from being a member of Peak, you know how hard we push ourselves here, so how do you think yoga will benefit Peak members specifically?
I definitely think like helping with the mobility piece, just like being more flexible, being more mindful of your body, so that hopefully like reducing chance of injuries and stuff. And just like I had mentioned earlier too, connecting, slowing down, just like really sinking into your mind and body, that connection. I usually start classes off with just like a short meditation or a centering. So I think that kind of helps you just sink in, slow down, wash away all the worries from the rest of your day, and then just come into it. And I know personally, MEPs, getting all your MEPs can be like really like addicting almost. But I think that yoga, doing that like once or twice a week, can also just add that extra benefit of slowing down, so that you're making sure like, oh, did I push myself a little hard in that class? Now I can give my body what it needs as well.
There's more to life than MEPs, guys. Have you ever heard of the yin-yang concept?
Yes.
So for every like challenging thing you do, like a hard workout, you should match it equally with like, you know, treatment, healing, TLC, that kind of thing. So that's where yoga really comes into play for all you guys that are coming to a lot of classes here at the gym. Gotta have that yin and yang in life, guys. Okay, so how can someone who is new to yoga overcome any initial challenges or misconceptions they might have about starting?
So one of the biggest misconceptions I think I hear, just like a concern for people, is like, I'm not flexible. So they think like, I can't do yoga, I have zero flexibility, I can't touch my toes, but you don't have to touch your toes. You can slowly work up to that. Like I said, there's also modifications. Props in yoga is a really big, helpful thing. Here at Peak we have blocks, but I've also told clients that if they want to bring like a pillow or a bolster or blankets to kind of help prop themselves in some of those postures that might be a little more uncomfortable, they can do that. But definitely, like if you can't get down to your toes, placing like some of those foam blocks there can help you just to kind of get into that, and then you slowly, as you gain your flexibility, get into that. And I think just remembering that yoga is not a competition. It's not a competition with yourself, and it's not a competition with others. It's really about listening to your body and what you need in that moment. And just maybe one day you have a really great class, you're flowing really fast, and then another day it's like, well, I'm just not really feeling it. I'm gonna lay in corpse pose on my back the whole class. So just kind of getting rid of that internal chatter, which is like another big thing. Focusing on breath and stuff in class so that you just kind of slow down and sink into it.
I don't think enough of us do correct that, or at least look into it. A lot of us, in fact, walk around all day so focused on the task at hand that we're breathing really shallow, short breaths, and that just drives your stress levels up because you're not getting enough oxygen. So coming into a yoga class, I love that you make everybody just breathe for a little bit at first, because that kind of overcorrects all that shallow breathing people do throughout the day. All right. So can you share a success story or experience from you or one of your members that highlights the impact of yoga?
Well, just in general, I feel like people that have tried out a class at Peak with me have just commented afterwards, like how good the class felt, how maybe surprised they were, like, oh, this isn't exactly what I thought, but it was way better. But another one, like a success story, is a client that had come to me after class one day and said, like, some of the postures we were doing, especially on the stomach, were like really painful, or not painful, but just kind of uncomfortable due to like a surgery that they had had a couple years ago. So we just kind of talked about a lot of those props, and that maybe she could bring like a pillow in and some blankets. So she did bring a pillow to the next class. This was actually during her beginning class, so holding those postures longer, which could then cause a little discomfort. But that's why the props in there really helped to make it feel better. So she tried it out with the pillow, and she came up to me after class and said that it felt so much better. I was able to lay on my stomach, which I can't even do half the time like that. So that was really exciting, I think, for both of us. And just, I think, just bringing awareness around modifications. And I think that's something that you guys stress a lot in the gym for like any class. Absolutely. And I think that is key in yoga as well.
Absolutely. So from what I can gather from our conversation here is this girl knows what she's doing. How long have you been coaching here at the gym now? 3 months?
About 3 months, yeah. It was like the second week of June.
Well, I'm impressed with everything you have to say, and I think I got to get my butt to some yoga classes too. All right, well, that's all the questions I have for you today, Kim. Is there anything you wanted to add in? Get your butt to yoga.
Yeah, come to yoga. If you're feeling intimidated, at least give it a try. I think like sometimes, like I will say, like the first yoga class I ever went to, it was like a very intimidating teacher that was like, hold this pose really long and whatnot, and that kind of freaked me out a little bit. But then I gave it a couple more tries, tried out a couple other yoga studios, and I think like your first experience of yoga, sometimes if it wasn't the best, can be really intimidating. Like, I can't do this ever again. But just give it another try it out, come, modify. Don't worry about what other people are gonna think, because it's about you and your practice.
Awesome. All right, thanks, Kim. Appreciate you coming in and joining me on your very first podcast.
Thanks for having me.
So you guys, I gotta plug my book here. So we have an awesome book called The Peak Physique Blueprint. If any of you are out there and not in the region where you can join Peak Physique, this is a great way to kind of get up and up on everything that you need to know about fitness, nutrition. We have 5 chapters, they're very short, that kind of cover everything you need to know about fitness. We have an awesome nutrition book in here with all kinds of delicious recipes. And at the end, one of these assignment notebooks that we used to have to fill out in school. So we're not only using this to use as our microphone, but it's also a little plug of the book. But anyway, thanks you guys for watching, listening, whatever you did. And hopefully we'll see you again soon. Have a good one.